Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cyber Voices, the official podcast of the Australian Information Security Association, otherwise known as ASA. I'm your host, as always, David Willett, and it is my pleasure to have you with us as we explore the diverse voices of the Australian cyber industry. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Cyber Voices, the official podcast of the Australian Information Security Association. It's me, David Willett, and I have got a really special and different episode lined up for you today. I've got a few actually, really special guests. It's a bit of a panel, which we don't do very often here on Cyber Voices. But before I get you to meet my panelists that I've got here today, I want to talk a little bit about the Australian Women in Security Network Incident Response Competition, because the three wonderful humans that I have here today are former contestants, winners and runners-up of this competition. It is a 10-day self-paced incident response event for anyone identifying as a woman, working in, studying or interested in cybersecurity in Australia. It is a hands-on, teamwork-based challenge suitable for those who are technically or strategically inclined. Technical skills are not a prerequisite, just a willingness to learn. And to get a little bit more info and build a little bit more excitement for the 2025 event, I am joined by three former participants in the event. First up, I've got Simone van Nieuwenhuizen. How are you, Simone?
Well, thanks. Good to be here, David.
You were on a former winning team, or you were a former winning team lead in the competition, is that correct?
Yeah, so the 2022 and 2023 AWSN Incident Response competitions, I was privileged enough to lead the winning team for both of those years. So I've got a very long history with the AWSN Incident Response competition. I'm really keen to share my story today of the podcast. And
the competition is run in collaboration with Retrospect Labs, where I believe you now work. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. So as part of one of the outcomes of my successes in the incident response competition was being hired by Retrospect Labs, which if you'd said 5 years ago that I would be working at an Australian cybersecurity startup company, I definitely wouldn't have believed you. So the AWSN incident response competition has definitely played a big part in my career and where I am today.
We've also got here today Shimsha Shetty. Shimsha, hello.
Hello, David. How are you?
Yeah, really, really good. Thank you. You were a runner-up in the competition last year, I believe. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, 2024, our team got as a runner-up in the incident response competition. Yes.
Amazing. That's so, so cool. And finally as well, we have got Jay Panishkan. Jay, hello. Nice to meet you.
Lovely meeting you, David.
And you were a participant in 2024 as well. And I also believe that you're going for a bit of a career change as well and starting to pivot into cybersecurity too.
Exactly.
If I can kind of pick on that a little bit, what's generated the interest in that?
To be honest, it was the incident response competition, really. It was the catalyst in my career change journey.
Well, it sounds like it is an incredible thing to be a part of. But I'd like to hear from all of you in your own words. You know, what is the AWSN/Retrospect Labs Incident Response Competition, and what is it to you? I'll start with Simone.
The incident response competition is really an opportunity for women in cybersecurity or women who are interested in cybersecurity, want to learn more about it, or incident response, to come together as a team and work together on a real world scenario and in responding to an incident on behalf of a fictitious organization, doing things like forensic analysis, communication, governance briefing, essentially anything that comes along with a real world incident response. So working together as an incident response team over the 10-day period.
Nice. And what do you think makes it different from other cybersecurity challenges or training programs that are out there?
Yes, I've also done quite a few capture the flags or CTF along the way, and they do tend to really just focus on that purely technical component, which of course is extremely important and requires a lot of skills and knowledge and training to be effective and skilled in those areas. But what the incident response competition does differently is highlight the variety of skills and knowledge in different domains that are required to be a successful incident responder or to have an effective incident response. So I think as we have seen quite visible, high profile incidents in the media in the last few years, what really resonates with people is the way that the organization communicated, whether it was with the victim or with the regulators or their stakeholders. People don't necessarily tend to focus or remember those really, really technical details that went along with the incident, more about the communication and, the empathy, how well the organization responded and recovered to the incident. So I think what is really unique about the incident response competition is giving participants exposure to the broad variety of skills, and while highlighting the importance of technical skills, it's not the sole focus of the competition.
It seems to be quite a transformative experience for a lot of people from some of the stories that I've seen. And that might be an interesting place to go next. And I'll go around the grounds now. Maybe if you could just give me a bit of a high-level view or what your individual experience in the competition was like. I'll start with Shimsha.
Since 2022, I was participating in the AWSN incident response competition. And last year, actually, our team got second prize twice, one with the AWSN and another with another competition with Retrospect Lab. So the main reason I joined was to get some hands-on experience, and this competition is really give me that. I was trying to move into cybersecurity as I was working as a developer long back, and I was trying to return to IT, and it gave me a great opportunity. So it's like this competition, it covers not only technical and forensic, it covers all the communication, documentation, how you can brief to senior leaders. It covers whole incident response process. And also the team, they made with all kind of background, like there may be a students, there may be a participant who is working in the industry for a long years. So it's a mix of team. It's makes really difference because we as a student or as a who wants to transition into cybersecurity, they get an idea like how to solve the problems and can look at the people who are already working in the industry. So it helped everyone to solve the challenges. So that's really helped me. And another thing I want to highlight is like during the interviews, I can take these scenarios. It may be about the team, how to work on a team, or the communication or situation based questions. I can answer in the interview. It's really helped me to do in my interviews as well.
For people moving into a cybersecurity career as well, or trying to find their next role, it must provide such incredible real-world experience. And as someone who is often hiring people into these roles, you're often looking for a lot of real-world experience, but it's also hard for people to kind of get a lot of that real-world experience. That's fantastic. And Jay, what about you? Because you're someone who's changing careers into cyber. So how did you come across the competition?
I came across, I think, a post on LinkedIn about the competition. I didn't know too much about cybersecurity, but, I was, why not, curious. I was curious what could this lead, what could happen, because my background is in digital marketing and product consulting. So it's worlds apart from the cybersecurity, but I thought might as well gonna give it a try. And yeah, it was, like I said, it was a life-changing experience for me.
Were you hesitant at all to kind of sign up, like coming at it from an outsider? Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
No, not at all. Because I think what really helped was, like, I think Simone just mentioned that, you're happy for someone who even just has absolutely zero experience, but willingness to learn you're welcome to join. And I think for me, that was a core for me. I've got zero excuse for myself now. And even if I learn just one thing, I'm already winning. You know what I mean? It's completely new to me.
Well, I imagine that you'd probably have some good advice for maybe someone who's listening today who's thinking about entering this year's competition, which we'll give some more details on later, who might be thinking that maybe they're not, quote unquote, technical enough to participate. Like, what would you say to someone if they were considering it and they're in that headspace?
I would say go for it, because what could come out of the 10 days might really surprise you.
Okay. All right. That's exciting. It'd be interesting to hear about what each of you actually had to deal with during your scenario and the times that you actually participated in the competition. So, Simone, you're someone who's participated a few times. Tell us a little bit about what was the simulation that you were working for and what was your team's approach to the scenario?
All of the competitions that I have participated in have been wonderful experiences. So I'll just take a step back. So in 2021, that was the very first incident response competition. So 2021, 22, and 23, I was active participant in all of them. So for the 2021 incident response competition, it was more just about that exploratory kind of experience, a bit like what Jay mentioned. So while I was in a cybersecurity role, it wouldn't necessarily be considered quote unquote technical, but I was really, like I said before, really into playing CTF and just keen to get any kind of learning experience that I could. And it seemed like a very valuable hands-on experience to have. So I put together a team within our workplace and we worked through a realistic scenario. We weren't, successful in terms of placing or anything like that in that year, but it really got the forensic analysis bug in me. So I was really keen to pursue that field of interest. And like Jay mentioned as well, it's not all about the winning and the prizes and all of that. It's about the learning experience and the new knowledge and skills and also the network and the new friends that you make along the way. So in previous years, we've also been placed in teams of women that we had never met before. I don't know what it was like for you, Jane Stimcher, but assuming that you didn't know each other before as well. And, it's a really great way to build up each other's confidence and really validate each other's skills and knowledge as well. So I'll just maybe talk about in terms of the approach to the scenario. Last year, I thought our team was very effective in doing a lot of work before the competition actually kicked off. So I suppose a bit of a tip for those that might be keen to sign up for this year's competition. You will have access to some really high level information up front. So before the exercise scenario, the competition scenario actually kicks off, you'll have access to information about the fictional company, what kind of industry they're in, for example, what kind of challenges they might be facing, even potentially an indication of what type of incident it might be. So what our team did was we made sure that we were using all of the available information to us before the competition started. So we set up a call before the kickoff to introduce ourselves, talk about our background, our respective skill sets, and how we thought we would best be able to contribute to the incident response. And then that really made that task allocation and shift work a lot easier because we actually had a pretty good idea of who would have strengths in particular areas and who maybe would be best placed to validate technical findings or to confirm communications before we submitted them. So I think just getting to know your team members beforehand and putting in that little bit of extra effort, and that's really also applicable to real world incident response, so understanding the business context, what is the kind of company that you're working for or advising, what might their challenges be, what might the impact be to them.
But even just those interpersonal skills and that ability to be able to work collectively as a team, I've been in a few incidents myself in my time, and when the team is fractured and not marching to the beat of the same drum, like it can drag on for days and months and so on and so forth. So, question for you: does everyone get the same simulation?
It's a different scenario each year, but all of the group, all of the team responding to the same simulated incident.
And Shimsha, what about you? What was your experience like in the scenario that you had to deal with?
Like what Simona has already mentioned, I have a same point. So the first is like get to know your team before the competition start. It's really helps, and it's actually helped us as well. Like taking some time to meet and learn about each other's strength and background. It really helps. Like who we try to understand who enjoys the technical side, who wants to go with the communication briefing to senior leaders. So we divided the task, and then yeah. So if we understand early on, then it makes like teamwork during the competition much smoother. And also, like what we did is like we gave a same importance to technical or forensic analysis as well as the communication side. We spent some time looking for like real organizations incidents, how they responded, how they briefed to media, all those things. Like we try to find out the real incident, and we used a similar approach within the competition. So that also really helped us. Um, and like teamwork and collaboration, it's really important. Last time, one of the success for our team is like everyone within a team, they involved like most of a participant was working full-time job, and I know it's hard to put extra hours, but even spending like a bit time after the work or weekends, it's helps a lot actually.
That's incredible. And you mentioned something there about the extra time you have to put in. Competition goes over 10 days. I'm assuming it's a virtual competition?
Yes, and also it's from all over the Australia. I remember two of my teammates are from Perth, and there was a time difference, and we try to communicate. We try to have a call within a Slack or chat. So, but everyone was very active, and everyone is participated. So for me also, like some of my teammates are working as a security engineers, security analyst, and GRC. So it's a mixed team, and I was trying to transition into cybersecurity at that time. Like I recently started working within a cyber organization as a GRC analyst. So, but at that time I was trying to transition into cybersecurity. So I got to learn from my teammates how they are approaching the problem. It was a great opportunity for me, along with participating within a competition.
And it's funny, you talk about you getting like the Teams messages or Slack messages and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And that's very much what it's like during a real incident. You've got someone's calling on the phone, probably multiple people calling on the phone. Different group chats are coming up in Teams and or Slack, and people are texting as well. So managing those lines of communication can be really, really challenging. But again, just further evidence of what a realistic situation that's being created through the competition. Jay, if I can come to you next, I'm interested in, as someone who is coming into this fresh, you had that background, I think you said in marketing, was it? And what role did you play in your first team, and how did you find that?
So my first time participating was last year. So last year, I think the setup was you were grouped together as a group of 5. You don't really know one another prior to that point. And what role do I play? Because I was unemployed last year. So I was being sort of an organizer of everything, making sure that communications are happening on a day-to-day basis. We kept all of us informed, and just want to tap on what both Shimsha and Simone mentioned about making sure that you get to know one another in the team. Now hearing from both of you, I realize maybe it is quite crucial now, because like not just understanding their strengths or availability or the team norms. Let's say if someone's based in Perth, they might not want to be ping at, I don't know, midnight or something, but also understanding our goals. I think that what makes it different for all of us because we were all new. I don't think any of us worked in cybersecurity at that point. 3 of them, they were either about to finish their cert for in cyber security. One of them either recently finished a master in cybersecurity or about to finish. So all of us were quite new, but we established at the beginning that, you know what, we just wanted to learn. Winning will be a cherry on top, but if we learn something, that would be amazing. Like, this is what we want. And for us, for our team in particular, I felt like it sort of set the tone of the collaboration throughout the 10 days, because it's not about, here's a solution, here's the answer to that question or the inject. It's more about, we actually all try to lift all of us up. This is the resource that we found. These are the links. I think this could be the answer to that particular questions. And here are the resources that I think it is the answer. What does everyone think about that? Like, there were a lot of that. I actually went back to the collaboration document that I still kept from last year. And there were lots of screenshots, links to YouTube videos, links to resources. Like, we were really helping one another and to learn, to making sure that all of us could get something out of this experience. So I think that was the approach that sort of made it work for me last year.
It sounds like such a positive experience, by the way. Like, I'm just, from all of you, I'm just getting this immense like pride and satisfaction. And the things that are really coming through the most are just the experiences that you had with connecting with other people too, which sounds really, really fantastic. I'm imagining that I guess you probably made some like professional connections, if not friendships, along the way too through these virtual teams, which is really cool. One thing I'm interested to hear too, right? If you can just touch on what was a memorable or even maybe an unexpected moment that you had in the competition, something that really stood out to you.
I think the most memorable experience was the announcement day. I remember it was Sahar presenting the winner, and when he put in the slide for when he was announcing third place, I saw the name Jay on the screen, and I kid you not, my first thought was, oh, interesting, there's another Jay in this competition. How cool. Because I don't come across a lot of Jays, and especially female Jay. And then Sahar started reading the names, and then my second thought, still, I was thinking, but these names, they sound all so familiar. And then it came to me, oh my goodness, it is our team. It's Team 11. It's us. I think that was the most memorable experience for me, because like I said, we all wanted to learn. We didn't expect this result at all.
I had a very similar experience as well, seeing the slides and then going, oh yeah, that's nice. And then, congratulations to those team members, and then thinking, I'm just going to kind of log off at the end of it and go back to doing whatever I was doing. And then, your name comes up on the slide. It's quite, a surprising moment.
I can only begin to imagine the sense of accomplishment, right? Like, as you all said, it's just to even be there and to be learning is one thing. But then if you happen to get the accolades and the recognition that come along with a position on the leaderboard, then that's icing on the cake. Shimsha, what about you?
Yeah, I think now I can think same about winning in the competition, and especially in 2024, our team, it's a different team, and we won twice a Retrospect Lab incident response competition. As I mentioned, one with the AWSN and one with another Conficon one. And I can say the AWSN has many participants, and it's a big group. It was very surprising for me when I'll come to know our team got a second prize in this competition. That is a great moment for me.
Well, you're all such winners. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Second last question. How has this experience changed how you think about incident response or cybersecurity more broadly? I'll start with you, Simone.
I think one of the key things for me is it reiterates that there will always be a degree of ambiguity as well in any incident. So, we want to have perfect information and have a full picture of what the threat actor did and, understand all of the indicators of compromise and the tactics, techniques and procedures and be able to say with 100% certainty that this is what happened and you've got evidence for everything. But just like in a real world, lengthy or complex cybersecurity incident, the team will rarely have a complete view of that. So it's not about perfection and, getting everything absolutely right and understanding everything, because realistically that is very rare that happens. So being able to admit when you don't know everything, when you're not entirely certain or not entirely clear, and not trying to present kind of false conclusions or to kind of elaborate on something to make it sound more exciting than it is, or, just because it's more convenient or you're concerned about looking bad or incompetent or something like that. I think, especially with those communication tasks, even if you're not able to, ascertain all of the technical details, being able to present based on the evidence and based on what you know, just as important as being able to, come up with solutions to the technical questions. But even in terms of the forensic analysis component of the incident response competition, there are areas that you don't have full evidence of, or you're not presented the artifact to back that up. So just being able to kind of, know to stay humble and what you know and what you don't know, and make sure that the communications and the submissions are aligned with that.
You've touched on something which I feel really strongly about when communicating during a cybersecurity incident, which is avoiding the temptation to speculate and avoiding as well other people trying to get you to speculate, because often in those early minutes and hours and sometimes days, there's just so much you don't know, and you could draw a conclusion and 9 times out of 10 you will be totally wrong. So the skill of learning to stick to the facts like that and how you communicate that is really, really important. Shimsha, what about you? How has this changed how you think about incident response and cybersecurity?
So before participating in this competition, like I was doing some CTFs and also I was thinking, okay, this is the one. But when I participated in this competition, so I come to know about like what and all involved in overall incident response competitions, especially the communication side, briefing, all those things. It's very new to me. And also like I participated through 3 times total. So every time they'll change the tools. For example, it may be a SIM tools or some forensic tool. So I got a very good hands-on experience about the different tools. And also I used this competition as in my interviews. I don't know how many times I explained in situation-based questions. So I used to bring this situations in my interviews. So it's really helped me overall in my growth or transitioning into the cybersecurity industry.
Shimsha, I love that you brought that up again, that you're able to use the experiences of the incident response competition in an interview situation. Yeah. So, well, maybe I haven't been in an actual cyber incident, but I've been in a few very realistic 10-day long simulations of them, and that to me, like if I heard that in an interview, I'd be like, yeah, that is absolutely a valid and a very impressive experience to draw on in an interview context. As well, I think I like hearing about getting hands-on with different tools, because that's really valuable too, because even though there's so much out there, if you can kind of understand, all right, the basics of how a SIEM works or how the EDR works or whatever it might be, you can generally translate that across different tools as well. And then that becomes real-world technical experience too. So,
yes.
Geez, what a great program. And Jay, I'll end with you too. So, how did it change how you think about incident response and cybersecurity?
Well, before I get into that question, I also want to plus one what Shimsha just said, and that I too used the experience from the competition last year in my interview questions most recently. And I was straight, honest with them. This is the only experience I ever had. So I'm going to be referencing the knowledge that I got from that experience quite a bit. So yes, +1 to Shimsha's response. But in terms of what changed for me in terms of perception of cybersecurity, because I'm newer than new, I had no idea. So prior to this point, I always thought it's all technical. It's something I can't do. It's something I would never wrap my head around. And after the competition, it sort of opened my eye that there are other areas in cybersecurity. Yes, it will be beneficial if you know technical skills or if you have technical skills, but you also need to communicate. You need to work well within your team. You need to sort of understand each other's sort of the team goal, and then you move together, like you said, like in one unity. So I think that was the biggest perception change that I had from the competition.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I guess a final question for everyone. So reflecting on how participating in the competition has impacted your own careers, what advice would you give to someone who might be thinking about registering when registrations open on the 6th of October? Start with you, Simone.
Well, I think it's obvious. Just go for it. Sign up for it. You've got nothing to lose. Also, while it is another additional time commitment over everyone's busy job, there are 2 weekends. So across those 10 days, it includes 2 weekends. So collaborating with your team members, you'll definitely be able to make it work. And the value is just so high from participating in an event like this. You'll get to meet some other great women, whether within cybersecurity or curious about cybersecurity, get to learn some hands-on technical skills as well as apply your communication, governance, legal expertise in other business domains as well. So got nothing to lose, just sign up, what I would say.
I imagine I'm going to hear something very similar from everyone, but I'll ask anyway. Shimsha, what about you?
Yeah. So I wanted to say, just get involved, and no matter what your experience level is, whether you are completely new to cybersecurity or students or already working in the industry, don't hold yourself back. The competition is puts you into a real incident scenario, so you will develop so many skills. So that's why I wanted to tell, go for it. You not only practice the incident response, but also meet the amazing people from this cyber community. So you will gain a lot of experience, and that will stay with you.
And you, Jay?
No, absolutely. +1. It's definitely go for it. If you're the least bit, if you're at least bit curious, definitely go for it, because you never know what could come out of that. You might surprise yourself.
Incredible. Well, just before we wrap up, I will just touch on again that the 2025 competition is starting soon. So registrations will be open from the 6th of October until the 7th of November. So this episode will either drop right before, you're either listening to it right before registrations open or right after they've opened, but they're open for a while, so make sure you get on it. So it is a 10-day self-paced incident response event for anyone identifying as a woman, working in, studying, or interested in cybersecurity here in Australia. You've heard all of the reasons why you should do it today. The competition itself will run from the 28th of November and finish on the 7th of December. And you've got everything to gain and nothing to lose, I would say. So I will include a link to the registration in our episode description. Here at ASA, we love working with AWSN and love promoting each other's work. So get on it. And Simone, Shimsha, and Jay, it has been an absolute pleasure to hear your stories. I'd love to hear more sometime, but I guess I'll finish by saying thank you for sharing your voices with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Cyber Voices. Our music is by Sanar Garut, our show artwork is by Studio Quarantine, and we record our show at This Is a Studio in Pran, Melbourne, part of Popplant Productions. Please make sure you follow the show on your podcast platform of choice and leave us a 5-star review. This will help others find the show. Also, please follow the association on LinkedIn and Instagram. If you want to add your voice to our ever-growing chorus of diverse cyber voices, have questions, feedback, or would like to be a sponsor, you can do so by emailing us at cybervoices@asa.org.au. That's cybervoices@aisa.org.au. Are you an ASA member? If not, you should consider joining our network of over 12,000 members across Australia. An ASA membership can open doors, build professional networks, create lifetime friendships, and offer exclusive training, events, and other perks. Become a member today by heading to our website at asa.org.au. That is all for today. I hope you will join us again next time on Cyber Voices.